funny how when you get guys together that have played regardless of the level, and we start, it goes from, Ed Belfour, goalie. Oh, I played with a goalie one time. You remember Neil Little? It's like, Neil Little, I was in his... You played with Neil Little. Now, Philadelphia property, right? Was he a Philly?
He was at Philly, the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Well, I played with Connie, actually, my first year in Montreal.
Okay.
I just banged around the minors.
Yeah.
But, it's a tight-knit circle, and the stories never end.
And then Neil Little's name gets brought up, and it's like, last time I saw Neil Little, he was flying over my head into a line brawl.
That brawl was epic.
Now, who was involved? The two teams.
So, yeah. It was Philly Phantoms, Binghamton Senators.
Yeah.
Ray started it. He cross-checked
Emery.
Yeah. I think it was Mike Peluso. There was two Mike Pelusos.
That's right.
There was one that played in the minors a long time. Well, out of nowhere, Ray just cross-checked him in the face in front of the net, and then it was just a 5-on-5 brawl. And it was kind of cheap by me because I was like suckering Pete Vandermeer from the back. I mean, whatever. And all of a sudden, Neil Little flies over my head. And I turn around and Jimmy Vandermeer suckers me and buckles me. I get up, fight Jimmy, knock Jimmy down, turn around, fought Pete. So I fought the Vandermeers
at the same time.
Just one after, everybody was fighting each other. And I just kept fighting them back and forth. Yeah.
That you can see how that could happen. Emery would probably have a little bit more, knowing that you're on the ice, like, well, I might have a little more liberty
and
here.
Plus he could handle himself.
And he can.
That's the other reason.
So Little goes the length of the ice and goes full dive into the pile.
Bobby Orr style.
Yeah.
Clipped his leg and landed on his back in the corner.
Good time.
But it was funny because I haven't seen him since, that was
since that.
I was walking into a game in San Jose and last year, and he's looking at me. I'm looking at him like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. Good to see
you.
you.
How are you?
Yeah.
I ended up watching 2 games with him. He's actually a pretty good dude.
Great man.
So, Stage, you wouldn't have, because you didn't play a lot in the American League. There was no East Coast time, so you wouldn't have a lot of experience in those kind of Donnybrook.
The only way he did, he got that
I played 1
first.
year. I played 1 year.
The one lockout year. He was kind of forced to play in it.
Yeah,
I was just a stud.
Silver spoon.
I was a young stud.
Well, you weren't really a young stud. You were on a glorified American League team in Toronto who had an awful team for a long time.
We beat you guys in the playoffs.
We pounded
what
you guys.
talking
When I was in
about?
Ottawa, we pounded them.
Yeah.
We pounded them.
Oh, okay. You were a big part of that.
Yeah.
You guys,
two
know
goals.
what? We've had to put Ottawa and Buffalo were top 2 teams in the league, I'd say, other than, of course, Carolina won the cup somehow. But we had to play you guys in Toronto. It was when the league changed the rules, and we had to play your own division 8 times. So we had to play Ottawa 8 times and Buffalo 8 times. And that's 16 games of our schedule, and we won maybe 1 game, got 2 points out of the games, and missed the playoffs by 1 point.
1 point.
3 years in a row. It happened 3 years in a row, and we were like, not that it mattered, like, whatever. We probably would have lost first round to you guys, but you guys had some good teams.
Yeah.
You and
We
Spez.
Yeah.
Well, we have
me, Spez, Alfie, and Heater, right? We kind of carried the
Yeah.
load there.
Oh, jeez. Gratz, do you know that Gratz scored 20 one year in the O?
20 goals.
20 goals.
In 30 games.
As a 21-year-old in junior.
Yeah. And then I blew my leg into like 4 pieces, and that was it.
Yeah.
Had to start fighting.
Well, see, I think it's important, and we're all in here together, and I think that it's probably important that that the people talk about you. And I'm not saying it's necessarily anybody in this room, but I think you probably want to know when people are talking behind your back. Every guy wants to know. The stories go that you put on quite the show at the alumni skates. That you like to dangle, you like to show off.
I'm good, baby.
That maybe you feel a little bit as though your skill has been taken for granted. You evolved into an enforcer, and that people look, they don't realize the
I was
other
never
side.
allowed to play.
Right. You were not given
Never.
You were not given power play time. You were not riding shotgun with Iggy. Probably should have been, right? I mean, between the two of us.
Yeah, Iggy, not Connie, but Iggy.
Yeah, like you've earned the nickname McGratsky by those around you.
He does turn into McGratsky.
Yeah, I wind her up out there.
So I just thought I thought I'd give you a chance to respond.
I get the wheels humming out there.
Well, Gratz's patented move for a full season in Calgary, probably 2012, 2013. Gratz scored a goal in Vancouver from center, 6 shot, skidded in, 5-hole, picked the corner. The next 30 games, every time Gratz had the puck crossing the red line, he took a clap right now. He's like, it was. And
I get to the bench and I'd look down the stage, just like, really? I'm like, oh man.
We had to call him out in the dressing room. We're like, Gratz, like that was a
They're like, it's the NHL. You're not going to score from center ice.
That's a lucky goal. He was convinced that it was just a really good shot.
That's my patented move.
Hey,
that's the
stick,
McGratton.
Stick to your bread and butter, baby.
That was great.
And I also understand that amazing 20 goal year you had as a 21-year-old in junior. Now, no one, line mates, did you have anybody?
Well, Spez had a lot to do with
Jason
it, right?
Spezza, yeah, okay.
So Spez had a lot to do with it, and Spez was unbelievable in junior. He was just one of the.
Well,
he'd get the puck and he'd deke around. Like basically, he'd deke around the whole team, and I'd sit on the back post.
No, you opened the ice up for him. Your presence.
Yeah, I wasn't that tough, though.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah, I wasn't that tough in junior. I got pumped a lot. I hated it.
Yeah. But you were intimidating. You're still intimidating, junior.
Yeah, but I wasn't tough.
No, you wouldn't even fight me. No, you were a skill guy. Me and Gratz actually went to hockey school as a kid together, in like a skills school, edge work and stick handling as a kid in Toronto.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dr. Smushkin.
Yeah, Russian skills.
Now, were you
wore figure skates? And
before I got into figure skating and all that,
yeah.
I used to skate with a Russian skills coach in Toronto. It's kind of where I found my feet.
Vibrant background, yeah.
Yeah.
Because were you a Hamilton kid growing up?
Hamilton, baby.
And you,
Mississauga.
So there's a lot of people within that's big population there. How did it come to be that you were both in the same school? It's good marketing, I guess. When did you how long was it that you realized that you guys were in the same?
I knew the whole time, and then I never really knew Gratz. Like I went to hockey school with him, and then he played in Ottawa. He actually lived in the same condo as me in the summer in Toronto, and I'd see in the off season, and he'd rent the place, and I'd see him and Ray Emery there all the time. And I'd come down, walk past them, not a word would be said.
I didn't even acknowledge
there's
that pigeon that plays for the fourth line for the Leafs.
You're me on the fourth line. I was always top 3 lines for the Leafs, putting up 50 points. You were... Yeah, that's Gratz. But anyways, I can't even come back to that. I love that you're chirping about playing on the fourth line. You averaged 2.5 minutes a game in your career. But so anyways, to extend on the story, I get traded to Calgary, and the first half of the season, for the second half of the season, Gratz didn't say a word to me for like 2 months. I got traded here, and I'm like, I know you. We went to hockey school as a kid. Like, we played against each other. We knew who each other were. He sat in front of me on the airplane. Not a word. Just like... I just sat behind him and just kind of mind my own business. Like he was choked.
And he wanted to get in the card game so bad, and we wouldn't let him play.
Gratz was mad because he was mad at me because Jamal Maris came in the trade as well, and Gratz wasn't playing as much anymore. So he was taking it out on me for some reason. Yeah. And then it wasn't until the next time he came back to Calgary that we became really good friends, and here we are.
Here we are.
Never say never, baby.
Never say never.
No, just... Yeah.
So from hockey school as kids to hockey school as parents, it all kind of comes together. PX3, the AMP Hockey Academy, both of you guys have your kids involved. Both of you have glowing things to say about it. And Brad, that's where you come in. We've 2 years ago, maybe we had you on. We were doing some commercials and we kind of got introduced to the program. I'm a hockey parent. My kids are a little bit older than these guys. They've gone through the rigors, and it's tough for parents because you want to ride that line between I'm not going to be that crazy hockey. I'm not going to be the crazy hockey parent. I'm not going to be. But then it's like, well, these parents are putting their kids in this sort of hockey, and they're giving them skating lessons, and you don't want to shortchange your kid. You're trying to find that happy medium between it's good for the kids. interacting with other kids. It's great for skills. It's skill development and all of that. I guess give us a little bit of insight as to what the program's all about.
Well, you know what? You're exactly right, and it is tough because you get into this. Not only the fear of missing out, but you want your kids coming in to try, or not tryouts, but the evaluations.
Yeah.
So you've got to be on the ice in the summertime. There's no way you're coming in there and that's your first session. Yeah. So in the past, I've had 3 pretty meaningful experiences, I would say, but one of them was working in brain safety and with different sports med clinics, and you start seeing some of the kids that are coming in that are like 12 years old that are dealing with hips, like needing hip surgeries and things like that. And just as a former player, and especially as a former damaged player, you just want to, take a step back and change that some way. And it is tough the way it is structured because, there's so much pressure not only to do more camps and do more things and do spring hockey and do these things, but especially for young kids, gosh, it's so important to not do that. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to create a platform where, with the small area games for sure, the skill development, but just really focusing in on giving kids proper rest and recovery, creating an environment that is phenomenal for coaches, phenomenal for parents, phenomenal for kids. But it's actually taking a step back. And, our kids are on the ice either 2 days a week or 3 days a week. And with the amount of reps and everything that they're getting, we're trying to get the game equivalent or the development equivalent of like 15 or 20 games in every one of our sessions. And you do that by bringing in smaller areas. Like I think of Elliot, or these guys like to play on a 200-foot sheet would be crazy for these little guys. And what's so cool about this program is, kids are such visual learners too. Like you can sit and talk to them all day about what they should do or draw it up on a chalkboard of, how they should do things. Yeah. But when you can see one of these guys actually do it, man, these kids learn and they absorb so quickly. And especially when they're younger, like they're such visual learners. And that's why, getting all these former pros together, granted, this is a little glimpse of why I love working with former players too, because, and you guys do an amazing job on this show. But just the amount of fun that we have as coaches is phenomenal. Yeah. And it's great when you have people that are all in there for the kids. I can tell you that, Stajan and Gratz are not looking to try and get, a provincial championship jacket. Like they've had their time in hockey, and they're really just trying to give back to the game. And I don't know, it's just amazing. And the multi-sport development aspect of it, being able to do other sports, we get asked all the time, like, how's the program different? And I'm like, well, I just don't know how the programs are even the same, because you don't see many soccer programs teaching lacrosse or rugby or, right now we're doing Olympic wrestling with the kids. But we need to teach these kids, especially at the younger ages, to really learn how to be athletes first and foremost. And so it's taken a step back in a lot of different ways, but we've been so lucky, and even having the platform like this today, like there's been so many amazing people that have come and supported this program. But I think it boils down to just doing what's right for kids and not trying to get out of the whole race.
So give us the framework of it. For age groups. What is it exactly? It takes place at Winsport, and that's your hub. It's kind of nice to have everything, so you're not racing around a whole bunch of different rinks and stuff. So you've got your home base. I guess give us the details on age group and just what it is for the parents that'll be interested.
Yeah, and there's 3 programs that we have. So the first one, which is what Gratz and Stage have their boys in, is our development program. That's for kids 4 to 14 years old. And that's all at Winsport 2 or 3 times a day. And it's all skill-based development during the week. And then we play in a cross-ice 3-on-3 league effectively on Saturdays. So we get 4 to 6 teams at every age division. They play against each other. Everything at Winsport, as you said, all set times, set days, and I've got 4 kids of my own. The schedule is probably one of the biggest assets that we have.
It's the hardest part, and it's the frustration starts to set in for the parents, and that ultimately bleeds into the enjoyment for the kid. It really does, right?
I'm telling you, man, as flaky as this may sound, and these guys know, like, I really think we're not only building better athletes, but I think we're building stronger families, and to provide routine, especially for young kids, and given the chance for families to actually have Sundays off and Fridays off and actually eat together as a family, so you're not just running around grabbing stuff at Tim's or there's a lot of consistency to it. And you have the schedule, September 1st right through to March. Then we progress into, we've got an academy that's building now, which is new from when we talked last time. But the cool thing is there's a high school right on campus, so now we're moving into these elite level teams where they are traveling. We start that when they're peewee all the way up, and we are up to Bantam Major now. We're going to be midget minor, midget major.
Yeah.
And they play an event-based competition model, so once a month they play in a showcase weekend. So we'll practice for a whole month and then play in a showcase weekend. Practice for a month, play in a showcase weekend. And so you don't have that random Thursday night game or Sunday morning game or everything else. So it's the schedule is probably one of the most unique things. And then, we've got guys like Layzell Brown, who I don't know if you've ever had the chance to talk to him. He's a 5-time Olympian. He's a bobsledder.
He's a beast.
He's
a
freak.
He is, yeah.
And, to have him working with the kids, doing this multi-sport component of it is so cool. Every point of contact is with either a former player or a former Olympian. And then, so we've got our development program, we've got our academy. When kids, again, the transition to go play full ice from peewee up all day, support that all day long. And our younger guys that are building into that program will play full ice tournaments during the spring season. So there is that transition, to move into the full ice. And then the final piece is our sledge program. And that was, the Flames, Connie, Candace, everybody, the alumni were unbelievable as far as getting that whole program off and going. But we have a whole sledge program run by Chris Cederstrand, former player, and the impact that's making on kids and being able to see, I love those guys. They are just such warriors and they're such athletes. And, we get caught up in some of the things that we have going on day to day, but, when you see the amount of work that goes into those guys just getting to the rink and finding a way to, become an athlete. To me, they just exemplify what it means to be an athlete.
Well, I asked Stage about it this morning, about the program, and one of the first things he brought up was the sledge, and just, Matt, you can speak to it, just how amazing it is, and for the kids, just for everybody, the eye-opener that it is.
Yeah, it's just such a good program. Obviously, the guys and girls that that have to play sledge hockey, they don't have a lot of opportunities to play sports, and this gives them such a good platform to do something that they love. I think, especially for all of us in here, sports is such a big part of our lives, and I think it's so important for growth and dealing with people. I just think it's so important, and give all these athletes the opportunity, even when they wouldn't have it otherwise. It's just very impressive to see and to talk to them and how passionate they are. And they went to St. Louis. A team was put together, go to St. Louis for a tournament, and how much fun they had and how competitive they are. It's just great to see. And I think you don't get that everywhere. I think other cities are starting to pick up on it, and it's good that it's like women's hockey is starting to develop, and you're getting a lot of support, but sledge you're starting to see the support for it, and it's great to see.
Well, you're right. And as a parent, you probably don't think about it until you're maybe thrust into the position of having to, and then you're kind of lost. Well, how do you, so to have that is wonderful.
And I'll tell you, Ryan Strasniski is probably the best example, and Graz, Seeds too. He's talking about another beast.
Yeah.
But, when the benefits of playing cross ice, even in sledge hockey, I can tell you, and you've been on a sled. Have you been on a sled?
Yeah.
To go 200
hard.
feet in a sled.
Oh, man, it's impressive. When you get on that sledge, you have a real respect for how strong those guys are. Chris can shoot a puck both hands, jointing in, ripping shot. It's impressive how strong those guys are.
Yeah, with one hand. But no, the Straz, to bring him into a platform, where you have a former player as a coach, and you've got this cross ice component where he's touching the puck probably 20 times more than what he normally would. The guy in a little over a year literally made Team Alberta. And that's kind of the power of the program of, creating the right environment and then bringing in coaches that can really show them how to do things. Man, the learning curve is just accelerated so much.
It's interesting you talk about building athletes, because we do get focused on hockey and it becomes a year-round thing. So to have that emphasis that it's not just about hockey, both of you guys, and I'll go to you, Gratz. Your boys playing. You guys have the option to put your boys and girls wherever you want, but you've chosen this one.
Yeah.
Tell us why it's good for you, good for Gabe.
It's great. I have a long relationship with these guys here, but it's just the whole schedule aspect is very important. It's not really gung-ho. I mean, he goes twice a week, Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings. And, I just want to put him in to be honest, I don't ever care if he ever plays hockey.
Yeah.
I just want to introduce him to things, see what he likes. You know what he does? He loves hockey. So, the pressure in our household will never be, you got to play in the NHL. And I just want him to enjoy playing a sport, find a group of friends, enjoy going to tournaments, playing mini sticks in the hallway, all that. That's the important part of hockey. The important part isn't playing in the NHL. You're the top 0.01% if you can get there. And if you're ever going to make it, you don't need your parents all over your back. You will find a way to get there, and it comes from that inner drive that most of us had to get there. And, the pressure will never be in our household to play pro sports. I don't ever really care. I just want him to find something that he likes where he can make a different group of friends. And so far it's going very well here. He loves going twice a week. He's got Elliot on his team. And, that's the important part of it.
And it's, I guess, just last one for you, Matt. I think that sometimes we kind of joke about it when our country loses at a national or an international. So time for a summit. In terms of teaching our boys and girls how to play the game, specifically of hockey, the condensing of ice, the ice surface, stations, smaller ice, and more kids moving around. The days of kids standing in a long line waiting to touch a puck and waiting to get into a drill, those days are gone. And I know that that's a huge emphasis here, is that we get on the ice, and for the amount of time we're on there, we're all moving, we're all working, we've got everything going. It's really been, I think, one of the biggest things for the grassroots level, the development level for kids hockey.
Yeah, I think for kids starting out and even right through, I think the skill development part, you got to do it in small spaces. And at AMP, so today's Wednesday, we'll be going there, and they do it all week. So during the week, skill days, and the ice there'll be boards up throughout the ice, dividing up the ice, and there'll be stations, and the kids will go station to station. There's a edge work station, there's stick handling, there's a game station, there's a little battle station, and there's one or two coaches in every station with the kids, really, focusing on, and it's good because it's changed for kids. To get the attention span of kids over an hour, it's hard to keep their attention.
The special skill set.
Yeah, it's hard for parents, let alone coach with 10 kids out there. So going to station to station, it keeps things fresh, and they're learning, they're developing, and if they're gonna love hockey and this is something they want to do, they're developing here all the skills that they need, and like Grat said, if you're gonna take it to the next level, it's not gonna be on what team you play for, or who your coach is. That obviously helps, but it's going to come from within themselves, the drive. And if they have that drive and the right support around them, which AMP gives as much support as you can have, it's going to work out. So it's just been a great program. I really like the setup of it for all the kids, and to be a part of it and to give back and help these kids. It's been very enjoyable for me and Gratz.
It's pretty crazy to see how far along our guys have come in the young. They're probably would be in the youngest. They're in the U6, but they're almost 5 years old now. But at the beginning of the year, they got out there, and Gabe and Elliot are just like a tripod. They won't lift their feet.
Yeah,
nothing. And I was gone for 2 or 3 weeks, and I came back, and they were doing a follow your pass drill. I almost fell over.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
And for you, Brad, we talk about in the NHL, coaches need to be able to relate to today's players. You need instructors and teachers who keep it fun for the kids, and that's tough because it's not a knock. I'm sure every instructor and everybody that is running a practice, you all care and you put your practice plans together.
Right.
But like you said, keeping attention and keeping it fun. As soon as it's no longer fun or it's boring, the kid is not interested in doing it.
Well, I think that's the underlying thing is if you don't fall in love with the sport, it doesn't matter how good you are or how skilled you are, you're not going to do it. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that we try and build is just actually having fun with the game. And, we got interviewed when we were first starting. They're like, well, it sounds like kind of a recreational program. How do you build high-performance athletes? And I'm like, this is actually how you build a high-performance athlete. You train them in all these different sports, and you actually make it more enjoyable than anything else that they're doing in life. And I know that's probably a reason for all of us. We just love playing. And when you take that love out and you make it a job for kids, you're crushing them. And I don't know. a lot of different ways. You know, our coaches do an unbelievable job, but I'll tell you, even our parents, like, how many times have you guys had a parent come and ask you about, I don't know, lineups or, you know, what to do? Like, our parents stay so far removed from the equation and just let our coaches coach. The parents do an amazing job. And I think that's, I don't know, it's a testament to the guys that are there. Obviously, not many people are going to come and question Stage or Graz. A lot of people are still just afraid
I question
of Graz.
Graz.
Oh, I just push pucks out there. There's no teaching.
I don't even know if you push pucks.
Yeah.
And I make Stage pick them
No,
up.
we're having a great time. It's honestly such a privilege to do it because to us, it's just everything that's right about the game. And to be involved in something like that, you know, to have the support from the community, from Winsport, you know, from the Flames, it just means so much. And it's great to see. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to be a part of.
So give us the details. Amp Hockey Academy online.
px3amp.org.
px3amp.org. There we go.
We're all out of Winsport, but registration for the fall is actually now open. It's amazing how things start here early, but things fill up quickly. And that's the thing is we only have probably 50 spots at every age level. And unfortunately, we'd love to get more ice. You know, I know Winsport has done an amazing job creating the ice that we have, but it's just limited the amount of time and ice time that we do have. But registration is now open. The program's grown. Gosh, it's almost tripled in size in the last 3 years, and we don't really see that slowing down now. So if it's something that's interesting to you, man, jump on it.
Right
and
on.
Hopefully you can have some fun with it as well.
px3amp.org is the website. Thanks for coming by. It's been a treat. It always is. It always is. Everything's good?
All good, man.
Traveling, you mentioned you were away for a couple weeks, so you're with the Flames, helping out in different capacities.
Yeah.
On the road a fair bit or manageable?
Yeah, a fair bit with with the coaching change, and Ray Edwards, who was the director of player development, came up to the Flames. So me and Ronnie kind of took over the workload, and it's been a little busy, but
down to Stockton
next week. Going to meet them in Iowa.
Team's rolling.
They got a good team down there, our first place team, so a lot to like down there. So I don't even think they've lost 10 games in regulation this year. So they're really humming.
When's the next alumni skate? You guys could be selling 50-50 for this thing.
Yeah, I know.
45.
Yeah.
Is it today?
Yes.
I can't make it today.